Hi, everybody. June here. How is everybody doing this evening? I'm just getting a couple things situated here on my table. Give me a moment while I get that situated. Hello, Wanda. It's great to see you this evening. Just getting my paper tape down so it isn't moving all over the place. I usually try to do this ahead of time, but time was slipping away and I figured I'll just get on here, and I know people be joining, and figure we'll get this done. So how is everybody this fine Sunday afternoon? Are you ready to do some crafting? Are you going to be crafting with me? We are going to be playing again with the Fall for Toile. I have 2 cards for us this evening. Here are the cards that the kit was intended to create. Okay. And last week we made some alternate projects. And so we made these 3 cards last week. We had so much fun. I've got 2 more for you today. And I look forward to crafting with you. So thanks for joining. If you're watching while I'm live, I'd love to know where you're watching from. So leave me a comment. Let me move these out of the way for now. This is just a little bit of a reminder. Hey, Corey, great to see you. Hope you're doing good. So we are in the subscription period for October, Cozy Christmas. It's going to be 9 cards that are really traditional Christmas colors like cherry cobbler, garden green, basic beige, pecan pie, real red is going to be the ink spot. So there's going to be flocked items in there, which to me is like a little bit of a velvety touch. So I am looking forward to that kit. It is, we are in the subscription period. It ends on October 10th. So if you haven't signed up for that paper pumpkin, you're not going to want to miss it. The November one is wrapped in cheer. It's going to be goodie boxes. For some gift cards or small treats. So we have that to look forward to as well. Those colors are going to be a little bit different, but basic beige, cherry cobbler, mossy meadow with an old olive ink spot on those. So looks like we have some fun holiday stuff coming down the line. So let's go ahead and dive right in. I'm going to get us closer to the table, make sure we've got things situated. Let's see here. Cannot do this one-handed. There we go. So let me just straighten us out a bit. There we go. And let me make sure we got our lighting going right. So awesome. All right. So here we go. All right. So we're going to do a little bit of coloring. And I tried out some different colors with the pumpkins to figure out what I wanted. So these are, that's light pumpkin pie with dark Cajun craze. And then we have dark pumpkin pie with light pumpkin pie. And then I had a dark Cajun craze with dark pumpkin pie. And then over here, I used the dark crumb cake to outline it with the light pumpkin pie. I ended up choosing this one as my favorite. This one is good. The second one here, it's a little darker than what I wanted for today. So we're going to be using a light pumpkin pie and dark Cajun craze with our coloring, and then the crumb cake for the stem. So this is the first card I have for you guys. This is my sample. The one we'll make is going to be different. I am using in this card. This card is called a corner. What did I call it? Oh goodness, corner closure card. So it just tucks right in here. There's a little bit of a lift here on this edge of the card, and this just tucks right in there. It's kind of a little bit of a fun fold. But as you can see, I use the Autumn Toile paper here to make my sample. I did use the stamp from the kit to do a little stamping. I also used the dies, and I colored a little pumpkin on the inside as well. So we are going to make this card, but we're going to use some different elements from the kit. So I'm just going to set this over here, and let's get into the little package of goodies that I have here. And let's see what we can come up with. All right. So we are, I'm going to change some of my things out. So I do have a die cut from the dies that coordinate with the Autumn Toile suite. And I'm trying to think of what they're called. I do have it listed in the description, but I think it's the Autumn Trees dies. I'm not sure, but I think that's the one it is. But this is so cute. I don't know if you can see it, but the little deer are there. So we're going to use that. And so what we have here is a card base that started out at 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2, and then I cut off 2 1/2 inches. Okay. And this is the piece that is going to be on the front. Okay. So basically you have, a typical card base that we cut, and we're going to just use that as the front flap. Okay. Now I did use the card base in the kit to cut a little bit of a DSP layer for the front of the card. And let me just tell you, this piece is 2 3/4 by 4 inches. Okay. And then because I have the DSP, I'm using the DSP to create another, I have this on one side, this is the other side. So we're just going to use this, and we're going to put that on the inside of the card just to give it a little bit more interest. And then also I use the DSP for the little corner piece that we're going to do for the card as well. Then I have the inside layer, which is 4 inches by 5 1/4. We're going to do a little stamping on there. And then I have this piece that is going to layer on top of the flap, like so. But I have decided that I want to use the piece of the card base from the kit. I'm going to use that to replace this piece. So let's go ahead and cut that first. And then I do have a few die cuts from the kit. And so let's go ahead and cut this. I think it is 2 1/4. Yes. And I think it's 2 1/4 by 4. Okay. So that's what I thought. So let's go ahead and cut this, trim this down to 4 inches. And then I'm going to get 2 1/4. How did I measure wrong? I think I did 2 3/4. Whoops. There we go. All right. So I'm just going to put that back in my box because I could still use that. and that's going to be perfect. So that's just a nice little, instead of the white, the whole white, or the solid white, this has just got a little bit of like a linen look to it, and I just think it will be a nicer, it'll just make the card that much better. All right, so we are going to do a little bit of stamping. I have a spare piece of white here. I actually have this one too now. We have our sentiment, but we're going to do some stamping on here, and color some pumpkins, okay, for our card. Try not to have too much of a craziness going on over here. All right, so we have this one, we have this one, and we are also going to stamp on here our sentiment. Okay, so we're going to get our Memento Tuxedo Black for our pumpkins. Okay, so I am going to just put some ink on here, and let me scoot this up just a little, and that's going to be one set of pumpkins that we're going to color. And then we're going to color 2 of these for the front. I wanted to maybe do a little something different. Oh, I totally am. I don't know what I'm thinking. These are not going to go on the front. Different card, wrong card. We are going to be stamping just some of the leaves onto this piece. And so we will do that as well as our sentiments. So let me get our Cajun Craze ink spot over here. Okay. And I have the leaves already. And I have a piece of extra paper here. So I am stamping off. Okay. And I'm just going to, I don't want it to be so dark. Okay. So I am just, oh, shoot. I didn't want to do that. I had spare paper here. Now my paper's going to be all messy. All right. So we are going to do one more. But I don't need all of these. So, but I want to put a little bit up here in the corner. All right, so that is that piece. And then we are going to use the Wishing You the Happiest of Days stamps sentiment from the kit. And I am going to be stamping that right on here. And just making sure I've got it straight. That's going to go right there. Okay. I forgot because I'm going to use this die piece, and this little guy is going to go right down here at the bottom of the card. And looks like I should have measured where I wanted my sentiment to go, but it looks like I'm going to be okay there. It's going to be just right. So this is going to go right on here like so. All right. And we're probably going to put it on with some dimensionals. Put some dimensionals on the back of here. And we can go ahead and do that while we're at this point. And I'm just going to add the dimensionals to these places on here. And then we're going to just have that popping up. like so. All right, so let's go ahead and put that down. Then we can trim off the excess from the die cut. And that is going to go right on here. So let's see. I'm going to take it off of here so you can see it a little bit better. And I can see it a little bit better. I'm going to move this all the way over so that that edge is in the right spot. And then we just have to trim one side. There we go. So that's what we end up with, okay? Love it. And so I'm just going to trim this little extra off right here and get rid of that. And that's going to be our little flap that goes on the front of the card, like so. So there, that's what that's going to look like. Really like how that turned out. Now you could do a lot of things here. Like you could come in and put a little blending brush on here to give some color, some added color to the little dies. I just didn't do that. They're a little fragile, and I'm good. I like them how they are. So we're not going to do that. If I wanted, I could have also put some little tiny dimensionals underneath here, but I'm okay with how this is going together. The one thing I may do is wrap some linen thread around here. So let's see. Maybe I will use the early espresso because then it's just tone on tone. Let's see here. If we just do this, because all I want to do is put a little bow on the edge of this. I'm not even really putting it. I want it to really be on the edge of the cardstock. So really right at the edge, so that it's kind of hanging off the side like that. See, so it's really just on the very, very edge of it. Okay. And let's just see if we can tidy it up a bit. There we go. Because this is going to go right on top of there. And so it'll look like that. Yeah, that's what I want. So I'm going to put this on with some dimensionals as well. And it is, they're not going to interfere with the dimensionals that were already on here. So they won't cause any additional postage at all. I think that works good. I'm going to put one in the middle for stability. Perfect. All right, so we're going to have this all put together. Once we assemble the card, this will already be ready to go. Just lining that up. And there we go. There we go. So that's how that will be our little flap in the front with our little linen thread there. Perfect. All right, so we do need to do some coloring here, and I have my blender pens handy. So like I said, I am using the dark Calypso Coral to just go over the lines on the pumpkin that are shadow, or I guess telling us where the shadows are going to be. I'm not really going around the outside of the pumpkin. I'm just going over those lines that are showing the shadow. So that's what makes the blending pen so nice. So as you can see there, that's what we did with the Calypso Coral. Then I'm going to come in with my light pumpkin pie. Oh, I grabbed the dark. Whoops. That's all right. I need to get a new pumpkin pie blender pen because my paintbrush end is getting pretty worn out. Doesn't have a lot of structure to it, so it makes it hard sometimes to stay in the lines. But there we go. So that's what we end up with. All right. Now I do have the crumb cake here, and it's the dark crumb cake, and I'm just going over the stem. There's not a lot of color to seep through, but there you have it. Looks good. All right. So this is going to go on the inside of our card. All right. And like I said, we're going to put this little accent paper on the inside there. All right. And then we have the card base from the kit that's going to go on the outside here. All right. And then this is going to go right on top like that. All right. So how is everybody doing this weekend? Did you do anything fun this weekend? I'd love to know what you're up to. I have been doing, again, more decluttering this weekend. I got another little space in my closet done, and 2 bags bagged up, ready to go. If I can just do a little bit at a time, I will eventually get through everything. And so there's our inside. Now this is going to go right here. And so we're just going to put that down right on the inside of here. It's just a nice little accent to it. And then we're going to add the piece from the cardstock. That's going to go on the front here. Okay. Oops. I'm almost getting glue all over me, folks. Well, that wouldn't be the first time, would it? So there's that. All right, so now this piece is going to go right on top of here, like so. All right. But I want to do our corner before we add that. So I have a piece here of the early espresso and a piece of the DSP. So this piece is 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, and this one is 2 inches by 2 inches. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut this on the diagonal. All right. So when I am doing something like this, I like to start my blade in the middle of the item, just because if I try to go at it from the end, I'm going to like crunch up. I need my glasses. I'm going to crunch up the edge, and that's not what I want. So I'm just going to bring my blade down right in the middle, and I go up and then I go down. And that way I don't get like a rough edge. Although I think I need to change my blade because I'm getting like fuzz, that's for sure. And that's usually the sign of that. But let's get that cleaned up. Now we're not going to use both of these. We're only going to use one of them. And I'm going to just clean this out a little bit. You can get like fuzz in the trough of your trimmer. And let's see a big bunch right here. Sorry about this. But this is how I clean it out with the little poke tool. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my blade around because I primarily cut in this direction going up. So maybe I can get a little bit of a better cut before I have to change my blade. All right, so again, I'm going to put my blade down in the middle. And there we go. Nice. All right, so we really only need one of these, okay? But what we did there was it makes a very nice formed edge around each side. That did not help my blade whatsoever. So it is time to change our blade out. If it starts to give you a rough edge, that's what's the issue, folks. Is that the blade is time for change. Okay. All right. So we are going to go ahead and put our little triangles together. All right. And get it in this direction so I can see what I'm doing. It's a little hard. The colors are so much the same. And that's on purpose. So there we go. All right. Now we're going to do some dimensionals on the outside edge. Okay. So I'm just going to put 1, 2, 3 right there. And then we're going to do 1, 2. I'm going to put one more on that there. All right. And this is going to give it a little bit of a lift so that it's easier to tuck this in, especially now that I have these up on dimensionals, so it's not flat. But this is going to go right on the edge of this card. Okay. So we are going to just get our dimensional covers off, expose the adhesive. And we are going to put this right on top of here. Trying to do this without getting my head in there. Okay. So that is where you can tuck in our little deal. Okay. And so that's how it's going to be. All right. So now I just want to kind of measure this. And it's kind of nice because this has the little, grid on it. Even though they're not perfect, I can tell where I want my card to go. And so I want glue over here on this side, and I don't want it past this point. All right, so just getting that ready. All right, I'm going to just get it off the edge of there. And then what I do is I tuck it back in here because I want to line it up. Okay, so I think this is about right. There. I'm going to just press down so we get all of that glued down. So I was trying to see, I guess we don't really have any of the dimensionals laying on top of each other. So it's still only one layer of dimensionals. Just feels maybe a little bit bulky because we do have multiple layers. Do you see? And so there is that card. Now we could certainly add some things. So I also brought in these foil leaves that I thought we would stick in right up here, just to give it a little bit more shine to the card. So I'm just trying to see where I can stick these in with for it to make, oh, there we go. I think that's how I want them. So I think I'm going to add those on there just to give a little bit of extra bling. So let's go ahead and stick those in. So I'm just going to use a little bit of glue on the end of my leaf here. And I'm going to stick this one in there. Okay. And then we'll put this one on top of it. Like so. There we go. And there you have that. So just a little extra shine to the card. So this is corner closure. Okay. And that's how that closes. All right. And it just goes together like that. So those are the two examples of that. And on this one, we just added the little linen thread on the side. Okay. So what do you think about this? I hope you like this idea and might like it enough to give it a try. So I'm going to put this aside. I did not need any of my extra little pieces, so I'm going to put those back in the box for another time. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and move these out of the way, and I'm going to get our second card here. So here is our second card, and this one is just a little flap fold that I just liked the design of this. The one that I saw had like a die cut here, but I just did a rectangle instead. And so it opens up like this. All right. And I used some of the Autumn Toile DSP to coordinate with this particular card. Now, the one we're going to work on is going to incorporate more of the elements from the paper pumpkin kit. But I did use the little corn die piece that is in the paper pumpkin. I did use that and cut it for the centerpiece, and I have the pumpkins that are a die cut from the kit and the cute little fox. So we have him on here, and then I used the sentiment strip. I added a little of the early espresso linen thread. So that is what we use to make this card. And so now we're going to make one together. Okay. And we're going to use some different elements. Okay. So I have these pieces that I think will, I still have to figure out what we want to do, but I think these are the things we want. All right. So for our front flap, we have this piece here. So we're going to do some stamping, probably just some of the leaves and things like that. We still need to figure out our sentiment. The sentiment that we want to use on here. And but I did grab the Hello die cut, thinking that might be just what we want for the front. Okay. So we have a piece of, again, we start out with kind of a standard card base. In this case, this one is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4.25. And then this time we cut off 2 inches, okay? And this piece is going to be used for the flap. And so we're going to need to score this. We're going to score that in a moment, okay? And so we're just going to go ahead and burnish our card base here. All right. So that, and then on the inside, we do have a piece of basic white that is 4 inches by 5.25. I think we might do a little stamping in here. Okay. And then I have from the card kit, the card base that is the toile in the pecan pie, which is the card stock that we're using. And so I have a piece of that to go here, and I have a piece to go right here. And so that is going to be the front of our card, and then this will come on top of it. Okay. All right. And so I did use some of the Autumn Toile DSP to just thinking that we could just add this piece on the inside, since it did this. I don't know if you can see it very well, but the toile we're using is the one with the trees. And so you can see like it's almost basically the same images, but in a different style and colors and stuff like that. So that is this card. So we need to do some stamping for sure. And we need to do the scoring on this. So let me just double check my scoring on that piece. I don't know if I wrote that down. It's really just in half. So let me just see. I think this is 5.5. So I think that's going to be 2 3/4 is going to be halfway. So we're just going to go ahead and score that right there. And so, yeah, that's perfect. So the 2 inches by 5.5 gets scored at 2 3/4. Okay. And that is all we need that for. Okay. Then I'm going to grab my foam mat again so that we can do some stamping on the inside of here. Now I want to, I think, use the little acorns to go on the inside of here. And, but I'm going to grab my memento again so that we can color them. Ooh, get the lid off, June. All right. So I just want to make sure we got this going this way, because I did this earlier, and when I was doing my samples, I got things going in the wrong direction. So we're just going to put these right here, I think. All right. And then I'm going to grab my, I don't know. I don't know that I have anything else color-wise handy. We're just going to make this work. So we're going to use the dark crumb cake for the top. And the light for the bottom. It's not really the best option. Do these little lines with the dark. Really need something a little bit more Cajun craze-ish, but we're just going to go with it. I could probably come back and add something later, but I think that'll be fine. So that's what we got for our little acorns. Probably not the best colors. I'm not sure I have a pecan pie blender pen, to be honest. I haven't used my blender pens in so long. I need to like figure out what I have and what I need to get updated. All right, so the other thing I wanted to do, and I'm going to keep this here because I think we'll add a few to that as well. But I want to add some of the leaves to the front and the inside. So, but again, I want to stamp off. And let's see, I'm just going to add them up there. And then let me turn this. Put them right there. So they're just kind of falling down that side of the inside of the card. All right, so now let's do it on this one, but I'm going to move this onto here. Okay, I think I'm going to stop there. I think I have stuff that's going to, if I stamped any lower, it would just get covered up, I think is the plan. All right, so I think that's all the stamping for this one. So let's go ahead and start to put our card together. So our little flat piece, that again is the 2 inches by 5.5, and it's scored at 2 3/4. We're going to go ahead and glue that down. And the fold is going to go at the edge of the right side of the back of the card. All right, and I'm just kind of putting this in the center. I am eyeballing this, people, so don't freak out. I'm just making sure I have it right at the edge of our card. So there we go. You can see it's right at the edge, okay? And then the inside is going to get glued right on top of that, just like that, okay? Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like them, Wanda. I appreciate that. I see we have a few people watching. I appreciate you tuning in, and love to know where you're watching from. So love whenever people come by and watch. It's so great, especially when I'm live and I'm not here by myself. All right, so this guy's going to go right here, okay? And you can still write a message on here. If that isn't to your liking, then don't put all the stamping in here, or you could add a piece to the back for a more of a message if you needed it. So this is just going to go right here. Okay. Like that. And then we have our little flip side. That's a part of the Autumn Toile DSP. That's going to go here. On this side, just gives a little bit more interest to the card when you open it. Makes it pretty, right? like so. All right, so all that is like that. So I'm just gonna burnish these one more time. So we have things folding. Doesn't really lay down perfectly. It doesn't really bother me, but it might bother you. So I suppose if it did, you could put a little Velcro there. You could put a little magnet or whatever to hold it down. But I'm not too bothered by that. Okay. All right. So our other piece of the card base that we cut is for the front of this flap over here. And so we get that put on like so. We're doing good on time. Very good. Like that. All right. So this is how that's going to close. All right. All right. So now we need to put our front together. And that's what's going to go right on here like that. All right. So I have a few things that I thought I might like. So we're going to have this on here before we put it down. Now I pulled out this piece from the card kit. And this is why I was saying, like, I don't think I need to put anything down here because I've already got a plan. Okay. And so we're going to have that here. And this is where I think I was trying to decide if I needed to stamp a pumpkin or not. Because I think I did want to put a pumpkin on top of here. So I have my thing over here with my pumpkin stamped already, and we can always color it and cut it out. So this is where I think I want those to go. I even have this little fun stem that's here that can come on. And then we're going to add the hello right up here like that. And that's what I think is going to be our card. So I do think I want my pumpkins. So let me grab my markers again. And I think I'm still going to do the same colors. So I have the Calypso Coral, the dark. Sorry, I get really quiet when I color, I think, because I'm concentrating. What have y'all done this weekend? Anything fun? I am more than ready for cooler weather. That's all I can say. We really haven't even, I think one morning this week at 5 in the morning, it was 68 degrees. That is not cool. I am so ready. I know Wanda's probably up there freezing already. But still want it. All right, let me get my crumb cake and color in the stem, and then we'll do a little fussy cutting. You know what? I'm going to color these other pumpkins, so maybe I want to layer them. I'm just going to go for doing something a little bit different, I think. And I'm going to color these in with the dark pumpkin pie so you can see. And that'll give us some extra coloring. on our pumpkins so that they're not like all the same. Although when you go pick pumpkins out, they are generally all the same, aren't they? Oh, I guess unless you're getting a white pumpkin. Speaking more to the orange ones, I don't feel like you can, that there are lighter pumpkin. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Tell me, am I wrong? I'm going to just come back in and give it a little bit more color. Y'all are not talkative today. That's what I have to say. But that's okay. I'll just keep talking to myself. All right, so there's our little pumpkins. I'll move these out of the way. We're going to fussy cut these out. I'm going to get really close to the edge. Have very little white on the edge of them. Should probably put my glasses on for this. You've had some cooler nights. Oh my gosh, 20 degrees. That's definitely cooler than 68. I just like 50 or, even in the, 40s would be fine. I just cannot. I'm tired of, it's been so hot still. I mean, sometimes I go out and it's still almost 100 in the afternoon. And I'm like, oh my goodness, we are in October now, people. All right, there's one of our pumpkins. I'm kind of excited. We're going to layer our pumpkins. I've thought about this after I made the other one, like probably needed more pumpkins on there on the front. The one looked like it was kind of awful lonely, just the two pumpkins. I don't know about you, but I'd rather have a pumpkin patch over one little or two little pumpkins. I don't do a pumpkin really because it's so hot. They don't last very long, and then they smell if we don't take care of it quickly. So I just don't do it. All right, so there's our little fussy cut pumpkins. All right, so let's put this together and see what we get. Okay. I'm thinking I might attach this now before we build everything on top of there. I feel like it was harder to do. So, need my glue over here. I just want to get this on here as even as we can. I think that's pretty good. Okay. We'll do our hello last, I think. This little guy is going to come down here towards the bottom. We're going to glue that on. Thought about popping that up, but then we're going to layer all this other stuff on. So I think we should start out with that flat. All right, so now we're going to add our little leaves. to this. Just put one up here. Put this one on top of here, like that. All right, now we're gonna glue these down. Like that. And these guys are going to go on dimensionals. Stick this one in the back. Up here. Like that. And stick in our little early espresso guy right there. And then we'll add our other pumpkins right here. Oh, that looks so cute. What do you think? I love it. I like layering the pumpkins like that. All right, let's just add our little hello up here. So let me get my fine tip glue here for that. And all right, let's see. I think that's good. Like that. Hello. Very, very cute. All right, so I do think this deserves some Winkostella. If I can get it in here good. I don't know. Sometimes I do this. I feel like nothing happens. Am I the only one? Oh, there, I see it now. I love it. I love it. I don't know if you can tell any of that or not, but it's on there. And, oh, I like how this came out. I really do. So fun. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. I read 20 degrees and I was like thinking Fahrenheit. I didn't see the C. Oh my goodness. Thanks for putting me right. All right. So there is our other card like this. And so that is what I have for you today. And I think we'll have another week with this card. But these were a lot of fun for today. So I am super excited about it. So I look forward to seeing you next week. And got to come up with at least 2 more little options for us to play with. I have had a lot of fun creating with our coordinating products and all that good stuff. And so I hope you like what you see today and that you will leave me a comment. If you are watching the replay, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I thank you for that. My little group is growing. I think I might have almost 250 subscribers now, which is very exciting, to be honest. So thank you so much for spending some time with me today, and I look forward to next Sunday. Bye, everybody.